One of the worst things that can happen to you when you're learning to trade is to be making mistakes, but to be making a profit from them. Because then you don't realize that it's luck. You don't realize it's a mistake. You don't have your shit handed to you so you can learn the hard way. Instead, you see it as confirmation that you can get away with doing what you're doing. And so your brain goes, well, that worked out, so let's do more of it. And that's how bad trading becomes a habit. That's how stupid decisions lead to conditioned responses being developed, which are really difficult to undo later down the line when it's stopping you from progressing with your career. The outcome rewards the behavior. So instead of addressing the issue and overcoming it, you just end up reinforcing it and making it deeper and making it something that lasts. Quick story. A few months ago, I noticed that the tires on my car kept needing to be pumped up every couple of weeks, like much more frequently than normal. And eventually I realized that I had a nail in one of them. So basically I had a slow puncture. But getting the tire changed felt like too much of a hassle, and I wasn't really having any problems driving on those tires except for having to pump them up every couple of weeks. So changing the tire just went on my deal with it at some point in the future list. But then a couple of weekends ago, I was meant to visit one of my best mates who lives in the Midlands. And normally I'd just drive there. But that morning I remembered about the slow puncture and how bad that could be if I was driving on the motorway and something went wrong. The tire exploded or something, right? Disaster. But it was too late at that point to get the tire replaced. So I had a decision I had to make. Either risk driving on the motorway with that problem or take 3 trains to get there to go and visit my friend. Now, the debate that I was having with myself is that I'd obviously been fine driving on those tires for months. I'd had no real problems with it. But that was around London, where the bastards give us a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit everywhere. So if something goes wrong going at that speed, I'll just be pulled up at the side of the road like a dick. Compared to if I drive it on the motorway, then the consequences could obviously be a lot more severe. So in the end, I didn't take the risk and I took 3 trains, which included spending an hour in Watford waiting for the next train while a mouse scurried around my feet, which wasn't exactly glamorous, but it was still the right decision to make. And every now and then in life, we have to make those sorts of decisions. Situations where the chances are that we could get away with doing something, but on the slim chance that it goes wrong, the consequences are grave enough that it just isn't worth the risk at all. And there's a quote by Naval Ravikant that always lives in my mind about this. He says, "The one thing you have to avoid is the risk of ruin. Ruin means stay out of jail, so don't do anything that's illegal. It's never worth it to wear an orange jumpsuit. And stay out of total catastrophic loss. That could mean you stay out of things that could be physically dangerous, hurt your body, you have to watch your health, and stay out of things that can cause you to lose all of your capital, all of your savings. So don't gamble everything on one go." If I drove the car, the chances are I would have got there and back in one piece, saved a load of time and hassle, and not had to sit there with the mouse. But I ran the risk of ruin. But in trading, people aren't thinking enough about this. There's an old saying in trading about picking up pennies in front of a steamroller, and this is exactly what a lot of traders are doing, and they're basically just riding their luck. They're repeating actions because the evidence so far has shown them that they can get away with it, but the logic tells them that if this goes wrong, it's going to be a complete fucking disaster. And this is especially the case for newer traders. I see it all the time in our comment section. I'll be explaining the logic behind something, why you shouldn't do something, why you should do something else, and someone will reply with, "Well, that's not true because I've done the exact opposite and so far I've made a 1,000,000% return," despite the thing being a completely fucking stupid decision. They might be riding their luck for now, but once it goes wrong, they'll be back to where they started, where the only important decision they have to make each day is what color crayons to pack in their Toy Story bump bag. But it's not always about stupidity. Sometimes it's complacency. It's getting away with something long enough that you stop seeing it as a problem. You think it's not something you need to address because nothing bad has happened so far. It becomes just like the slow puncture. Something you know is there, you know is a problem, you know you shouldn't be doing it, but you keep putting it off because so far it's been fine. Right, there's a trading YouTuber who I only found out about a few years ago because we caught his team taking articles off our website, copying them word for word on his website and pretending that he wrote them, like proper scumbag behavior. He's got hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube and people think he's legit. And he used to do something really sneaky. He'd publish his trading performance on MyFX book and show off about how conservative and believable it is, saying he just takes this slow, steady approach with small returns and it's fine, it's steady over time. And of course, people praised him for it. They said it was realistic and sensible and like, wow, finally, there's a realistic trader, no big returns, just something that's actually achievable. But what his viewers didn't realize, and it seems he didn't realize it either, otherwise he wouldn't have done this, is that it only took 2 clicks to find the maximum adverse excursion data and see what he was actually doing. He was opening trades with such small position sizes that if they went against him, he could just hold on to them for a long time without a deep drawdown. And then as soon as the trade hopefully came back into even a tiny profit, sometimes even something as pathetic as 0.2% profit, he'd close it and bank it. So what people were seeing was the end of the trades and seeing this steady rise in profits. He kept banking these small amounts over time. But what they weren't seeing was how many of those trades had previously been completely in the shit for a long time, with losses many times bigger than the eventual profit, and holding periods of weeks or months in some cases, and just this small return at the end. And this is a textbook case of picking up pennies in front of a steamroller. He was getting away with it so far because people weren't seeing what was actually going on, and eventually those trades were coming back into profit. But at some point in the future, one of those trades won't come back into profit. And when that happens, he has to crystallize a big loss that wipes out almost all of those silly little profits that he'd taken up until then. Because the thing is, he wasn't trading anything with positive expectancy, he was just riding his luck. And having good luck isn't a viable trading approach. It's not going to last. But a lot of traders do similar things to this. Another really common example is moving your stop loss as soon as price is about to hit it, or doubling down on losing trades to try and bring down your average entry price. In some market conditions, you'll get away with that for a while. If things are relatively sideways or mean reverting, you can convince yourself that you found some clever little loophole to avoid losses. But the problem is, trends exist as well, and it's only a matter of time before the market catches you out. Until then, traders think they've found some master plan. They think it's a smart way to avoid taking losses because it's worked for them up until that point, and they assume it's going to work again and again. But that is how bad trading habits become built into the way you approach the market. It's through false rewards. The market's paying you for doing something stupid, and instead of questioning it and thinking, wow, I got away with that, I'm never doing that again, you start trusting it. You start believing in it. You think that's the way things are done. And this is one of the reasons that most traders stay stuck for years. They need a better understanding of what profitable trading actually depends on. They don't want to get away with bad habits. They want to learn what bad habits actually are and to avoid them. And if you want that, if you want to understand the logic behind trading and how to actually become consistently profitable, doing something logical, repeatable, and skill-based, then check out the free training series that's linked in the description box and in the pinned comment. Now, it's true that most mistakes, if you repeat them over and over again, will eventually be learned the hard way. And I've made many mistakes over the years. I've had to learn some really painful lessons in really painful ways, including 6-figure losses. And trust me, when that happens because of a mistake, it fucking destroys you no matter how much money you've got. So I'm not saying this from some sort of moral high horse where I've never been an idiot and made these sorts of mistakes. I absolutely have been an idiot as well. But what I've realized more and more over the years is that in most cases, you don't need to learn the lesson the hard way. You just need to stop believing your own bullshit and start believing in logic and maths instead. Evidence, real evidence, not just it happened to work out, but like undeniable evidence. Because the thing is, if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. And if you think you've figured out some simple little way to profit from trading every single day and you've only just got started recently and you're wondering how everyone else is too stupid to realize it, well, the more likely truth is that you are the one that's being an idiot. Because at the end of the day, trading is about forecasting the global financial markets. Financial institutions wouldn't be paying mega bucks to hire some of the smartest people in the world if making money in the markets was so easy that someone whose mum still has to wipe dribble off their chin managed to crack the code after only starting a month ago. It's a skill. It takes time to develop it properly. And one of the biggest parts of that is learning to judge what you're doing based on logic, not just recent outcomes. Because profit and good decision making are not the same thing. You can make money in the short term and it will still be based on bad trades. You could lose money in the short term and it still be based on good trades and the right decisions. But over the long term, that's what matters the most. And if you don't understand that properly, you'll keep reinforcing the wrong things. So if you think the market won't expose the serious flaws in what you're doing just because it hasn't so far, think again. Even a small chance of ruin becomes a serious problem if you keep repeating the same behavior over and over again long enough. So stop thinking with your dreams and what you wish was the case and start looking at logic. Ask yourself whether you really do have an edge, whether what you're doing is genuinely logical, or whether you've just been getting away with nonsense so far and thinking things are simpler than they actually are. Because the market doesn't always punish stupidity straight away. Sometimes it lets you build confidence first, and that's when things get really damaging.